This is a Stock Trade Reality Podcast, episode 155.
You are a risk to society, so you can't operate in society anymore. So I got out, and I was left behind with a little bit of extra bonus money, and some welfare support, and that was it for me.
This is the Stock Trading Reality Podcast, where you get to see the realistic side of a trader's journey. Get inspired and stay motivated by everyday normal people who are currently on their journey to trading success. And this is your host, fashion and being in style? Not his thing, Clay Trader.
Now, I hope my co-host here doesn't judge me too much because, yes, when it comes to fashion and being in style, that's not quite my thing. However, many noticed, myself included, that when we met Ches and saw Ches down in Florida, he looked like he was just straight out of the mountains of Colorado. Like he dressed like he was supposed to dress if he lives in the mountains of Colorado, which you do, right, Ches?
I do.
However, this is something new. Not that long ago, you lived in Southern California. And I remember meeting you at those meet and greets, hanging out, and you did not look like you lived in the mountains of Colorado. So you apparently are very adaptable in terms of fashion and dressing. Is that a fair observation on my part and others' parts who kind of noticed, oh, wow, look at Ches. You can tell he lives in Colorado now. I mean, are you kind of in tune to all this stuff?
I actually never really thought about that, but now that you brought it up, it makes sense because I don't know a better way to put it. When I have to go shopping for clothes, it's generally local stuff and whatever's around me, and that's what you kind of wear. So most of the stuff I think you guys saw me wear is from like a ranch supply store. So I don't care if that gets me any criticism. I don't care. No. But I mean, that's just where I found awesome shirts and jeans and stuff I wear out here. But I will say this though. A majority of my purchases are strictly meant to be more durable than like good looking. By no means do I buy like $300 pants to look cool. I'm more worried about tearing stuff and burning stuff around bonfires, and that's more of my concern goes to that than generally how it looks. But my wife also, bless her heart, tries to keep me looking somewhat presentable as best she can.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. IT Nate, the show producer, he's pretty spiffy. In fact, that would probably be a good fun fact. His wife tells him to go to Nate for fashion advice because Nate's he kind of keeps up to date on what looks good and what doesn't. But yeah, we were all just kind of joking in a good way. It's like, yeah, you can tell Ches lives in Colorado. He had on the flannel and
he wore a flannel shirt.
Yeah. I mean, it was great. I was just judging in the sense of, yeah, you totally are blending into your new kind of living condition. So, but me on the other hand, I'd probably be wearing the flannel and thick pants in Southern California. And then when I got to Colorado, I'd probably be wearing like the sandals and the shorts and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, that's just, where I'm at in the sense of being in style and fashionable. But I'm kind of fitting a square peg through a round hole because you're more functional. That's what you dress functionally is what, your kind of thing is. Not necessarily like, yeah. So
that's what I go for.
Yeah, I kind of threw these falsities on Ches, but that's okay. We'll survive. But
it's all in fun.
Yeah, it's all in fun. It's all in fun. Today we have I don't want to say too much just because it's pretty crazy and crazy in a good way. But we are traveling over to the country of the Netherlands, and my wife, who is Dutch, she when I told her, I was like, hey, we interviewed someone from the Netherlands, she was pleasantly surprised. But Zentaro is his name and what he goes by in the chat room. And he's got a great story. I'll just leave it at this, that he is a former police officer. And then he has some things that occur. And then those things start to unfold and at least lead to other things. And then these other things have some big numbers associated with them. So without further ado, let's get to it. Ajith, welcome to the show. Now, I'm kind of nervous because you are over in the Netherlands and my wife's like entire side of the family immigrated from the Netherlands. So are you Dutch or did you immigrate to the Netherlands yourself?
I was adopted to the Netherlands.
Oh, interesting. So your parents are Dutch then. And so yes, I need to be nervous here, Ches, because my wife is depending on me now, as she is Dutch. So
yes, she is depending on you. Now make her proud.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna do my best to make her proud for sure. Well, first off, thank you for spending some time with us today, and I'm interested to see. I really don't know anything about you, at least that I'm aware of. And Ches, you don't know anything about Ajith either, do you? For the most part.
I think I spoke with him many moons ago. Over a year ago is the last time I had spoken with him, and that was just about kind of the entire program. But yeah, that's about it. So I'm looking forward to the story.
Great. So I bring that up just for you listeners out there that are maybe new to the podcast. Ches and I really do our best to go into these pretty blind about the person. That way our conversation is as genuine as possible. That's not always the case because sometimes a lot of people are in the chat room on a routine basis. But here, it's going to be, just an open, genuine conversation, just trying to learn about Ajith and what he's doing. So with that being said, where did all this start for you? You know, what got you interested in the markets, and what kind of got you interested enough to want to get a little bit more hands-on with your money?
Okay, well, to start, I was a police officer in the Netherlands, and then I got PTSD, and I got an honorable discharge, and then they said to me, well, you are a risk to society, so you can't operate in society anymore. So I got out, and I was left behind with a little bit of extra bonus money, and some welfare support, and that was it for me. And I was only 35 years at the time. No, 30.
Yeah, I was just going to say, how old are you at the time? But that's, Clay, correct me if I'm wrong, regardless of any time frame or whatever age you are in life, that's a pretty wild, you got a job, you got a career, and then, now you have a big problem, and best of luck and on your way.
Yeah, I think that may be a first for somebody that just kind of had things turned around on a dime. So I'm curious to hear where this goes.
Well, so then
so what did you end up having to do after that now?
Yeah, well, I had this little bit of money that they gave me, this bonus money, and spending money is easy, but I don't like spending money too much when you don't have money coming back in. So I wasn't fond of spending that money, and I went out of my way to try to see what can I do with all the restrictions I got, physically, mentally. What can I do to make some money? And then some friend spoke to me, and he said, well, I do CFD trading. So I said, okay. And he said, use a demo account. I said, okay, use a demo account. And I didn't know anything about trading, just buy, sell. That was it. And I went with this demo account, and every week I booked gains. So I thought, hey, this is easy peasy. I got this in the bag. I'm going to put on some money in a real account, and I'm going to be rich. But that didn't work like that.
Yep, that's generally what most people think too. Is as cruel as that is. Now, the friend who kind of suggested that to you, is he trading part time? Is he a full time trader? I know CFDs are a lot more popular in Europe and abroad, but what do you know any of his background regarding his trading, or did he just kind of suggest it to you and then told you to go practice?
Yeah, he suggested it to me, and he had this little trick which allowed him to make 100 to 200 euros per day, and that's it. So
did he share this trick with you?
No. He stopped trading also.
So he just said, hey, I make...
He isn't trading anymore.
I mean, that answers the question right there. If he stopped trading.
Yeah, all right. So yeah, moving on from there, that's like you said, question answered. Now my question to you is, you open up a demo account, and you're making gains, and in your words, I love it, easy peasy. So how exactly were you trading? I mean, what were you doing that was generating all these gains? I mean, did you think you had I'm sure you thought you had a strategy. So at that point, what did you think the strategy actually was that you were, operating and doing that was producing these profits?
Waiting to see enough red candles and then put a buy on. So I used...
All right, so you were just looking
knife
for
catching.
You wanted to see the price pull back, and
then I put it on a buy order.
And then what after that? What you would just wait until it would hopefully go green.
Yes. No.
And this was working though.
Yeah.
During the demo account.
Yeah, Just random luck.
So I'm curious, how long did you trade on the demo account before you decided, like you said, easy peasy, now I want to try this with real money?
3 weeks.
Nice. 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So 3 weeks goes by, and so you fund the account. How much, did you fund it? You don't have to give it exact dollar
No problem.
amount if you're not.
2K euros. I started with.
All right, 2,000. Okay, and I'm assuming that you just tried that same exact strategy
Yes.
that you had been doing.
Mm-hmm. But
And how did that work out when real money was on the line? Let's do this. Walk us through like your first ever trade. If you can think back that the first time you put real money into a trade, how'd that one all work out?
first time it also went well because I didn't know nothing about trading, and I was just doing this thing that I thought was right. And I made first week I made 1,000. With CFD trading you can get big gains, big losses also. But so first week 1,000 euros gain. I was over the moon. So as static as I was.
Yeah, 50, I mean, yeah, you made half your entire account right there in your first week. That's
Yes.
over the moon is a good way to put it.
So I was shouting it out to all my friends who don't do trading or do know anything about trading, but I was shouting it out. I was happy. I was feeling confident after all these years of feeling down. Finally, I thought I had the answer to my problems. And then they said, well, be aware of that. And did you think about that? And do you know about this? And did you heard about that? And I was scratching behind my ears and I think, no, what are you talking about? And that kind of got me out of the vibe of nothing that I was in. And then I just was losing money every day. And the 2,000, what went to 3,000, went to 500. Then I put some extra money in so I wouldn't go bank. My account wouldn't die. And in the end, I lost 4,000 euros, I think, in 2 weeks.
So, I mean,
2 weeks.
sometimes I was gonna say sometimes it happens fast, sometimes it happens slow, but obviously this happened on the faster side for you. So, I guess what I'm kind of where I think you were was what I call kind of the ignorance is bliss stage, where you know very, very little and things are working out. And then just like you said, you're talking to your friends and they go, oh, did you look at this or did you look at that and did you look at this? And now things are starting to get jumbled up. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you have it all figured out, and by no means do I think anybody has it all figured out. We can only just work with, strategies and risk management and all that such. But I mean, you're following generally the route most people take and have to unfortunately go through, including myself. I took an account up and took an account down just as fast before I decided I need to get some education. So what did you decide to do though after you had kind of, I guess when all was done and said with, after you had added money to the account, and let's just say you had lost 4,000 euros, what did you decide to do? Did you think I'm done with trading now for good, or am I going to try to find somebody who can help me, or what?
Well, exactly that. And I'm not the kind of guy who likes to quit. So, and I was thinking, well, how can it be that I'm losing all this money, but on the other side, there are a lot of people who are gaining money? I can be on the winning side, but I have to do something for it. So I went on the internet and I found some trading group, an American trading group, and I joined them. They were also trading CFDs, Forex CFDs. And I was with them online live, and the whole room made money, and I was only losing money. So that went wrong, and it cost me about.
Let me ask this
Yes?
though: the whole room made money, and you just didn't lose money. Is there? And I think I may know who you're talking about here, but do you think maybe there is a possibility that other people in the room were maybe just not being honest about how much money they were actually making, or maybe even losing, or was it literally everybody was making money and you're the only one that lost?
Yeah, I think it's more about of the last option, because I used a trading CFD platform from the Netherlands, and I think that platform hasn't given the right rate of stocks, the right prices. So when he said buy, I should have sold because the price wasn't right.
So this was a room where did you have to think for yourself, or was this literally you just buying and selling based off what, the head trader or whatever you want to call him was telling everybody to do?
Just be a robot and
so you're
push the button.
All right, so you're basically being a puppet
Puppet, yeah, puppet, not robot, puppet.
Puppet.
Yes.
You were being a robot puppet. We'll call it that, or a puppet robot, however you want to call it.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So, and I know you know this, but listeners out there, I don't mean to rain on your parade. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer. But if you honestly think that this whole trading thing is as easy as signing up for something and then having somebody tell you when to buy, when to sell, they're going to send you text messages. They're going to send you hot picks in a newsletter, and all you literally have to do is press buttons. Ches, they're going to be sorely disappointed, right?
I mean, it's I don't know a better way to say it than if you really think it's that simple, then wouldn't everyone do it? So it is absolutely not as simple as just blindly following some dude and pressing buy and sell.
Exactly. And so I can't say that I'm shocked to hear that didn't really go too well for you either. How long did you stay within this trading group where you're just trying to follow, but you're just losing money? How long did this portion of your journey go on for?
About 1.5, 2 weeks, because I was losing, so I quit fast.
You quit fast. So, at this point, how much money did you lose after joining the group?
Another 1,500.
Okay, so we're at about 4,000 euros. Is that
yes.
Right around there? Mm-hmm. Okay, and this all is in about a month then, right?
Yeah.
Give or take?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so Ches, he's burning through cash fast. So, well, I will give you credit. You decided, you know what, I'm going to quit. I got to stop again because something's just not quite right. So where did you go from this point after losing the additional 1,500?
I went to find another trading platform, another broker, so to say. And then I went on the internet and I found YouTube, and then I found your videos, and I watched your free videos on YouTube. And then I came to the Clay Trader website. And then there was this option to buy the robotic trading course or the single courses and the whole package. And I took the whole package, and I'm glad I did in hindsight. But then I was a little bit wary to spend another $2,000 or so, something like that, on that membership. But it was the best money I ever spent, because I started doing robotic trading and the follow up, the exercises of that course, and I took my knowledge to normal stock trading, but I burned through most of my cash, and I was a little bit hesitating to put on another big stack of money, so only put on 3,000 euros, and the gains were minimal. I made some gains, but they were minimal. And at the same time, and this is around just before you got a new president, before Trump became president, there was this. They had this coin in the USA, the Trump coin or something like that, a cryptocurrency. And the same guy who put me up to CFD trading the first time came to me and said, "Hey, you know what you have to do? You got to buy some Bitcoin, and you got to buy Trump coins, and then everything is going to be all right." Okay.
Clay, I like this guy's friend. I think me and him would be good buds.
I think so too. I mean, straight up cryptos, and
it goes from CFD trading to now closes his account. Now he's telling you to buy cryptocurrencies after everything. So, okay. So now, did you take his advice this time? Because obviously you had a bad experience the first time. Well, you had a mixed experience the first time. It wasn't as easy as he made you think it was.
Mm-hmm. So yes, I bought my first Bitcoin. I bought my first Bitcoin, and for that Bitcoin I bought Trump coins and also Putin coins, because those two were going to be at war and they were going to be so big you can't imagine how much money there will be from those two coins. Okay, and in the end everything was gone in 2 weeks, 3 weeks again. So
Go ahead, Chaz. I'm curious what he paid for this Bitcoin, but because I mean,
Yeah,
in
I am
hindsight, we all
too.
know what happened with Bitcoin. But go for it.
900.
So yeah.
Nine
So
hundred
okay.
dollars.
So how? I'm still. I guess I must have missed it. How did you lose that? If it went, were you margin somewhere trading it, or
No,
how?
the value declined so much. It declined about from 0.15 to 0.00000015.
Right. You're trading a Bitcoin pair. Gotcha. I thought you were
Uh,
trading a Bitcoin outright. So yes, now that makes a lot more sense to me because I was like, well, it went from 9,000 to 20,000. So how did you lose? But
no, not
now
yeah.
I
It went from
understand. You're trading.
900 to yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. 900. Jeez.
yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. And in the end, everything was all right. But that was my first crypto experience on some shady crypto dealing site. And all the things I learned with robotic trading, I couldn't apply there because they hadn't used real graphs, real candlestick graphs, and I had no indicators. And then I was still reluctant to, give myself over to this. Just consider myself a loser. So I went on finding some other cryptocurrency sites, and I found this Bittrex site. And Bittrex was one of the only sites I found in which you can use the indicators you teach. So I bought some other bitcoins, put them on there, and I analyzed every coin pair in which I could find an uptrend because a year ago everything was in a downtrend till February.
What?
So I searched for moving averages of 250 that were sloping up on daily charts, and that's where I started my trading for cryptocurrencies. And yeah, that was for me, that was one big ride, and I made really good money from that.
So,
I
okay.
just used
Now I want to
yes.
ask though. So you were applying what was taught here. Now, what courses did you go through in the university program?
I did the robotic trading, and then the follow-up for robotic trading.
Did you
Let me
do
see.
RVR trading or no?
Yes.
Okay. So that's okay. That's the only thing I wanted to check because this is where I want to kind of find out some things. This will be the real determinant on if you are advancing in your trading, in just my personal opinion. So now you have kind of picked markets that you want to look at, and you got all the tools, you got your moving averages, you got your candlesticks, you got the time frames, however you want them to be. Give me an example of how much, say, you might risk and how much you might be making. Like, or would you risk 200, 500 euros and try to make, 5,000 euros? Or what did your trading look like, once you started to apply it to these kind of these cryptocurrency pairs? Because honestly, you're the first person we're interviewing now that's traded more than one kind of cryptocurrency pair. So I want to hear how you applied what was taught and, how did that work out for you?
Yeah. To be honest, I don't take much losses because you don't need to take losses in crypto. If you do your homework correct, and you got some real quote to quote real coins, because they all will go up in time, and they all went up over time. So when I can't fix a day trade, it will become a swing trade, and if it won't work as a swing trade, it will be an investment. And all coins I played like this, they made big bucks. And now I have a part of coins that I use for long term, and since December or November, I started trading with taking risk, minimizing my risk, taking using stop losses, so to say, and then I stopped my loss. I put in one BTC order of one BTC, and I stopped my loss at 10%. So that will be 0.1 Bitcoin, and I take my gains from zero point 0.2 to wherever the thing will take me. And
Sure.
I have daily gains 40%, 50%, sometimes over 100% daily gains. So
Right. Okay. So the thing I was very happy to hear there is that you said, you're happy to clip it at 10% on some of these trades. However, and I'm going to say this in the most polite way possible because I've been in crypto and alts since like 2012. Just be careful because I promise you the long altcoin bear market can sometimes go on much longer than just, as much as you have seen it before. So if you have smaller positions in those and you're kind of spread out across them, fine. I'll leave that as that. You set your risk, and if it kind of craps out, it craps out. However, the one I was more impressed, I was saying that, if you're risking one BT or you have one BTC on the line, you're only going to lose 10% of it before you say I'm going to kind of bail out of this. You're not going to lose a whole, Bitcoin doing that. So I just want to caution you because some of these alts, don't get me wrong, they're great. They pop up almost immediately. Sometimes they take a real hard downturn and bounce up again. But eventually some of them, especially if they have no future use cases, can go to zero and kind of hang out there forever. So you're in a totally Wild West market, and I'm just happy that you have kind of embraced it and understand that, because a lot of people think that, trading the altcoin market is like trading, the S&P 500. While the trading principles might be the same, I promise you the alt market is drastically different than the S&P 500.
yeah,
And also
for sure.
And just so I understand, you are using stop losses in a sense, right? You're not just buying, holding, and hoping, right? You have incorporated stop losses in all.
No. When I start my in the beginning, I didn't use stop losses because I wanted to get more and more and more, and now I'm at the point where I made a lot of money, and now I just trade around. I take my loss, put it up, take my loss there, and put it somewhere else and get a gain. I use a lot of bull flag pattern breakouts. Those are in crypto. They are so easy to predict. So when I see the bull flag pattern, I put up a BTC, and then 10%, 20%, I take a gain. I take them off.
And then, but what are you willing to lose on that? Is that where you're willing to lose 10% then? Also on from the risk management side?
I would be smaller.
Oh, even smaller. So
5%.
what are you willing? What is your risk management? I mean, what's your stop loss at, give or take?
That would be with a bull flag. I would take 0.05 loss. That would be 5%.
I love it because for a while there, I'm going to be honest. I was thinking, he's out here saying he's not trading with stop losses. He's just not. And yeah, sure, he's made a lot. But I'm glad that you have grown from that, and I'm glad to hear now that you're playing the bull flags and that 5% are right around that area. Ches, we're both sighing a little bit of relief here, right? To know that the whole no stop loss thing was back then, but now currently he has learned from that and he is using risk management. So has your sweat stopped too in terms of panic?
Yes, I feel a lot better now. So I have nothing wrong with those bag holds had kind of paid off, and now he's applying. Now that he's got a bankroll, he's not willing to kind of put it all on red or black. He's trading with good risk management, and that's the only thing I always want to hear when we talk to people.
Yeah, good. Especially like you said, you've made money, so you want to protect it. And I'm assuming you take losing trades, right? Because nobody's ever perfect. So losing trades happen, right?
Yes.
But then there's also winning trades that'll happen. And have you noticed that when you stick to the plan over time, that as long as you have a system in place, that losing trades are they're disappointing, they're frustrating, they're annoying. That if you just stick with things and let the winners win, things can continue to trend up in the big picture. Have you seen that kind of unfold for yourself?
Yeah, sure, for sure. Because overall, I invested in cryptocurrencies 12K investment in a year time, and I took out 800K.
$800,000 or 800,000 euros from 12?
Yes.
So just so I'm understanding that right, you started with 12,000 euros and you've turned that into 800,000 euros?
Yes.
I'm going with life-changing here, Clay. Life-changing money.
There we go. And I mean, I know you were doing all sorts of the crypto. I mean, was any specific one one of your bigger winners, or were they all just a bunch of big winners that it was a combination of several?
Well, for me, the Litecoin did really well for me, from €2 to €200. And then
that's
you
a
had
good
the
trade, I'd
Vergecoin.
say.
I had Vergecoin from
That's another one.
one Satoshi. So that's the lowest score you can have, one Satoshi. And I sold the last bit at about, let me see, so I don't lie, at 2,000.
I mean,
So
that's just a
from one
modest gain,
to
just
2,000.
2,000. Yeah, 2,000x that one trade there, and obviously I'm assuming you were peeling off along the way too, because otherwise it'd be crazy. But so here's the thing: do not take this the wrong way, because it's an absolutely amazing story and it's awesome, and people have also had the opportunity to kind of make some good trades exactly like you and kind of really do this. What I really want to hear though is, what are your plans going into the future now? Obviously, you've come into money, life-changing money that I'm sure you might not have even expected. Mm-hmm. And now you have a bankroll to trade with, and obviously you can use this to do a lot of different things now. What's your plans for trading? Are you going to, I didn't even ask if you were day trading these or swing trading these, or, are you going to diversify a bit? Are you going to kind of take a little bit of a seat back, or do you still really love trading in the market? What does the future look like for you in terms of what you're planning on doing now?
I'm looking for some second homes to buy, to put them up for rent. I'm also started the Grow Rich course from Clay Trader University with the money tree and stuff. So make that money tree.
Well, as a fellow real estate investor myself, I am very glad to hear that you are now looking to diversify those income streams into real estate too. So that's great. And yeah, I mean, Grow Rich, it's always good to have some, I don't know how it works over in the Netherlands, but I'm assuming there's some sort of tax-friendly accounts that you can use. So yeah, get some money in there, let that do its thing over time. Can I ask you how old you are right now?
I'm 38.
38. So, I mean, you got a whole bunch of life to live. And yeah, I mean, Grow Rich, that's great for the stocks, and then to get a little bit more active in things with the real estate and rentals, that's fantastic. So that's kind of more of your additional income streams. Do you still plan on trading though? I mean, you mentioned you're trading bull flags now and all that. So I'm assuming you're still pretty active in the day trading sense.
Yes, I'm active in the day trading sense on with cryptos, and I'm also started again with normal stock trading, and I'm accumulating stocks which pay dividend
Nice.
paying stocks.
Nice. So that's more the Grow Rich. So I guess you mentioned bull flags. So I guess walk us through kind of a normal day, what your strategy looks like. Are you trading at certain times during the day? When are you doing your homework and research? Kind of give listeners an idea of how you approach a day or a week or whatever you think is the best way to explain it.
I get up around 7 o'clock in the morning, preferably a little bit earlier, but 7 o'clock I get up. I go downstairs, put on the laptop, make some tea, and I trade until 1 o'clock in the night, 2 o'clock in the night. And I go to sleep a few hours, and then I go back down here and trade again. Because now the momentum for this cryptocurrency thing is big. I don't believe these gains will stay forever. So you gotta harvest when the
Take it while the times
right?
are good. Yeah. Take it while the times are good. Now, I wanted to ask a question for you, because you were talking about one of the first crypto bucket shops you had traded at didn't have any charts or any indicators. So what you obviously found Bittrex, and they have a good charting platform for you to use. What kind of indicators and what's on your charts? What do you generally have on there to kind of help you determine what trade you want to take?
Okay, I used the Bollinger Bands. I used the MAs 10, the Golden Brick Road, the 10 or 8, the Godfather's 5200 MAs, MACD, volume. Sometimes I use stochastic because when stochastic and MACD turn at the same time, the move will be so much bigger. So I use that one. I use the RSI, and sometimes I use MFI just to gauge to get some extra indication, but not a lot.
So it sounds like for the most part, you're keeping things pretty basic. Bollinger Bands, moving averages, candlesticks, volume, and then once in a while you'll throw in some other indicators. Is that an accurate summary?
MACD is key. Yeah, I always use MACD.
And you use the MACD. So regardless, though, very straightforward approach. And I'm trying to think. Are you ever on the live webinars on Tuesdays?
No, I was there when I just joined your group. I attended too.
Because sometimes as a joke, I'll grab the fancy tools, but you're not using any of those. So I mean, it's once again another person. Put.
I use the Fibonacci.
Fibonacci. That's good to use too every once in a while. Is that do you use that often, or is that just for certain different setups?
I use it to find re-entry points when because there's a lot of pump and dumping in the cryptocurrency world. So when a coin is pumped up, I just set my Fibo retracement and I pick up at 62.8 retracement.
Ches, it sounds like this man's got a strategy. He's not chasing. He's letting other people panic, sell to him, and then he turns around and probably sells it right back to those people that chase the price right after they panic sold it. So
all the sweat I had earlier about I was nervous about bag holding and chasing stuff, and all of those worries are now long gone. Sitting waiting for his price, I'm just like, I love to hear it.
We'll think about it. Maybe we should post our Slack conversation. Just take it when Ches and I both started to freak out behind the scenes, saying, "Uh-oh, what's going on here?" But yes, everything. We can now rest easy, but that would be kind of a funny conversation to post. My question to you is, because you have the psychology right. You understand you're in the Wild West. You understand pump and dumps. You get all that stuff. So what would you tell somebody if they came up and said, "Hey, I have this crypto and it's the next greatest thing, and I bought it at this price, and I am holding. I am going long, and I'm just gonna ride it out." And you can tell they are totally just drinking the Kool-Aid. They are a full-blown believer. As somebody in your position that understands the psychology, understands the market, what would you tell somebody like this if they were to approach you and just tell you how into and how great some sort of crypto is?
I would laugh.
So after you got to laughing,
that's what I like to hear.
This is a friend. So you'll laugh, but then you want to help this person out. So what would come after your evil little kind of type laugh?
I would advise him to if he wants to buy at a high, just use a small amount of the total amount you can invest, because it can go up really fast, but it can go down really, really hard. And when you put all your money in at the first buy, then the way down can be so painful. But when you just put in 25% of your total investment in that kind of coin, then yes, when it goes up from that point, hey, you got a little profit. But when it goes down, there's nothing to fear, because you have 75% left to counter to get your ROE, your rate of interest, lower, or your average price closer to the market price. So gains can be made faster.
So in other words,
is it drastically different than just the strategy of take out another mortgage on your house and buy as much as you can here at the top? It's his suggestion is literally, take it small, use a small percentage of your account, and if you want to buy here, sure, just understand, that you won't get wiped out even if you would let it go to zero. So I just think that's just sound, good, solid advice. If people are going to buy, regardless of if he says this is a poor time or not, everybody could set up their own trade plans, but just not going all in or go big or go home, because more often than not, people are going home. And I know I say that every podcast, but yeah.
And I guess I'm fascinated because I'll be the first. This whole, I mean, I understand the penny stock market, and I know the crypty and the alts and all that sort of stuff is essentially the new penny stock market, the new Wild West. So is it a function of where you have a bunch of people? Do you use message boards? Do you use social media to gauge where interest is at, where people are pumping and that sort of stuff, or is this all strictly charts for you?
For me, it's only charts, and I don't use a troll box because a lot of these crypto trading sites have troll boxes. They don't even call them chat boxes, but troll boxes, so they can troll people into buying stupid coins. No, I don't use anything of price and volume are leading indicators. I was taught by some person.
That person sounds like I'd like to meet that person sometime. So. Wow, it's Ches. I mean, how much experience do you have in this this crypto market? I mean, the alt market is. I mean, it sounds like it's just almost mass chaos. There's no rules at all. Is that essentially? Is my impression? Am I gaining the right impression here?
Well, the ICO market and all of that was the new penny stock pumps. You know, getting it early as we launch, and it goes up really high, and you know people get completely hosed on it. So, but the thing is that the SEC and the U.S. I was calling this from the get-go. I said the minute a couple U.S. quote-unquote investors get fleeced, the SEC is going to go just as hard as they can on these ICOs to stop them. Anything that is, you know, U.S.-based, stuff like that. So that's exactly what had happened. The only real alt I'd ever focused on was Ethereum, which you've actually taken a look at some point, Litecoin, and Bitcoin. So I will not lie, though. I have been monitoring the alts on... I've been monitoring probably about 8 other markets that are considered altcoin markets on the daily, and I just kind of set levels and see how they react to those levels. And honestly, if I would have actually taken the trades, I just don't have any money in those accounts because I have them all in my Bitcoin account. They play out pretty well. There's a lot of great dip buying scenarios you can play out on these things. So I've only traded kind of what I call the big 3, just Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, though.
Nice. So my question for you is, because the crypto markets are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, how many hours a day are you actually in front of your screen and trading?
12,
13, and the other part of your day is basically just sleeping and eating?
Mm-hmm. I eat it from the laptop.
So pretty much you are just, you're all in for this, and I mean, it sounds like you're doing this at this point because you just absolutely love it, right? You don't necessarily need the money given how much you've made. Is that pretty much right now you're doing it? Of course you want some extra money, but it's not like you quote unquote need it. It just sounds like you have a sincere passion for this.
No. Yes. Because you see, when I was doing police work, I had to work a whole year, and I got a netto profit of 25,000 euros, 25,000 euros for a whole year of working, shooting, running, spitting. I'll get spit at and shouted out and stuff. And now I make 20k, 50k a day trading crypto. So yeah.
In other words, you have perspective, and this is not. Let me, because I know a lot of people are going to listen to this, and it's great. It's inspiring stuff. And they're going to want to, I want to rush into this, you know, this crypto market, and, you know, the coins other than, you know, the big ones, you know, the Ethereum, the Bitcoin, the Litecoin, Ripple, you know, some of those other ones. And they're going to want to rush into this, you know, market. What would be, I know start small, but what would be some advice that you would give them as they head into this market other than start small?
Don't if you're new and you can use technical indicators, use trade coins that are longer, that exist longer than just a few days, because then you can use bigger charts, because the indicators work with averages, so you have to have some little history to make these averages. For the 200 moving average, you have to have 200 candles at least.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of coins that don't even have 200 days worth of data at this point. But
yes. So
go ahead.
Stay away from new coins. Just trade old coins. They already have some history. history will repeat in bigger or smaller portions, but it will repeat. And use coinmarketcaps.com and only trade the top 10 or maybe top 100 if you want to be ballsy, and let the rest be, regardless of what people or
nice.
other people
I like
say.
that. Regardless of what other people say, to trade the top 10. And I'm not expecting you to plug my course or, but would you also say that you also should be learning charts before you get into any of this? Because it sounds like from your perspective, charts is a huge part, huge tool in your tool belt. So is that a fair step? Whether or not or you learn charts from claytrader.com or not, would you agree that learning charts is a massively important thing to do before you go and start, throwing yourself into the crypto market?
Hell yeah. Because everybody is rushing, like you said, everybody is rushing into this market. The most exchanges are overloaded with applications. So there's a small, there's a big demand and there's a little to get. So people just trade and they don't use these indicators. They don't know about a 3 days MACD that's turning, so better sell your shit and buy it back a little bit lower. They don't understand that. So this is a virgin market for, in my opinion. And of course, I'm not an experienced trader, but when I see the difference between the normal stock trading, crypto trading market is virgin and a real good environment to see how indicators act, because people don't know how to beat the indicators.
Right. And I mean, I think you nailed it correctly in the sense of, I was in full agreement with you, and I was talking about this in our inner circle chat room before. I go, the market is so new that you are literally watching people do emotional things. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of big players in these markets now, but you see a lot of people, and if you ever go on Twitter, you can laugh. Oh, this thing's going to, 5 million% up today. And it's, because 5,000% wasn't enough for them. And you just see it. And I think it's funny. I completely agree with you. You completely nailed in the sense that it is so busy and there's such a flood of new money trying to kind of get involved that, some of these exchanges flat out said we can't take new users yet. We have to get through this whole backlog of stuff now. So I think that's pretty cool. But I know trading is like your life now, and it's absolutely awesome to hear. I love hearing stories like this. But riddle me this. Do you have any hobbies outside of trading? Do you ever do any stuff for fun? I know you got to do stuff for fun at some point.
Oh yeah, sure. I have my own business in drones. I have I am the official Dutch distributor of the Swell Pro Splash drone. That's a waterproof drone.
Awesome.
So I have this website I run. I can do that when I'm trading. I can click on the website and do some stuff on the website and YouTube, and then go back trading. So I have that little business. It's also good for having some having an extra tax number, so I can deduct some business taxes.
There you go.
And I love fishing. And I recently bought. I went from Windows to Apple to Apple, and I have this iPad Pro, and I bought some extra iPhones with extra data on them, so I can trade outdoors. So now I go out fishing and I can trade all day.
I was going to ask too, because I thought I was going to ask you if you're into fishing, because I know I had heard from somebody else that Netherlands you could find some good fishing out there. So, well, that's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that at least you get outside sometimes. I do think, don't get me wrong, you're not alone. I know many people, and I am totally guilty of checking Bitcoin's price while I'm on a ski lift. So while we go outside to kind of do stuff, it's still kind of on the back of our minds, but that's good to hear. So what would you say are some strengths that you've really kind of developed since you kind of found your groove? What do you really excel at?
Finding the breakout setups. I also have a WhatsApp group of I think 15 to 20 people who take my breakout advice. And there are people there that are already trading 20 or to 15 to 20 years trading. And now they ask me for advice about what I think about when a breakout is coming or not. Because I know technical trading from you guys, and they don't.
Oh, I just love to hear
Tears.
the confidence. Hey,
Yeah,
having
tears.
confidence in knowing what you're doing. I just think it's just absolutely awesome. Now, in terms of weaknesses and things you're going to work on, throughout the rest of the year and throughout the rest of life, what are some things you're going to work on?
Um, I want to improve my risk management. Still, I want to improve that a little bit better. Um, I want to expand this housing business, is buying houses. I've got this goal set to buy each 3 months to buy a new extra home.
And
I
rent it
know a
out,
guy
right?
that I know a guy that's got a real estate course that is so. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, so did you know I put out a real estate investing course?
I heard something about it. But is it on the clay trader courses?
No, it's on moneywithclay.com. So there, look at that. I slipped
What a
in
nice
that plug.
What a nice
I
plug.
slipped in that plug real good there. But no, it's I'm just giving you a hard time. It sounds like you have a plan in place already. So you just execute what you want to execute, and I like it. Buying a house every 3 months. Just make sure. One bit of advice: are you going to use a property management company, or are you going to find the tenants yourself?
I'm going to do it all by myself.
Okay, well, make sure you screen, background checks, credit checks. Make sure they can afford whatever you're charging them, or else you're going to have a big headache on your hands. So if I can give you one bit of advice, that's what it would be. Screening is the most important part of real estate when it comes to rentals, not actually buying the property. So make sure you put in a quality tenant, or else you're gonna not enjoy real estate in a hurry. So just something to keep in mind. But as we start to wrap things up, before we got started, you said that you've listened to past podcasts, so you know that Ches has a time machine, and I'm curious what the answer here is going to be. But if Ches were to lend you that time machine and you could take it back to when you were first getting started in the markets, what would be one bit of advice that you'd give yourself?
Buy more bitcoins. I should have invested more.
You can't do that though. I forgot. I forgot the stipulation.
This is why I have to lead this question.
That's
no
true.
buy or
I
sell
screwed it up.
recommendations. That's okay.
Okay.
So what would your advice be? You can't say buy this or I should have done that. What would be a bit of advice that you should have had that would have made your life even easier going forward had you known what you know now?
Start at claytrader.com before starting demo accounts and starting this and starting that and thinking like I do. Because when I started here, if I would have started here, I just have spent 2,000 euros or dollars on a course and not lose 6,000 or what so before spending this too.
And right there, that was not staged.
So my advice
that
to
was
me
not
would
staged. I promised.
get educated.
There we go. And not staged, right, Ches? There was no staging of anything going on. So
no, absolutely not.
Regardless, you've had a good return on investment. I'll leave it at that. So we're gonna take it into the fun questions. But before we get to the normal fun questions, I have something that I'd like to ask you. Being you were a police officer, are you allowed to? Are you willing to share a story with us that is just kind of maybe one of your most a memory from your time on the police force?
Yeah, I can tell you a very very funny story actually. So there was this time I just joined the police, and then we got this call that there was a pastor, a Christian pastor that was missing in his home. So we went to that house, and we didn't find anybody. So we broke down the door, front door. We broke it down, searched searched the apartment, the living floor, and there was nobody there. Then we went upstairs, and we got to the first room, and it was, I guess it's sleeping room, all nice and tidy, with the reverend clothes hanging on the on the wall. And then we went a little bit farther in the house, and we came to the bathroom, and in the bathroom there was On one side there was this toilet, and this toilet should have been white, but it was all covered in shit. Uh, yeah, and on the left side there was this a thing you can dry your clothes on.
A drying rack? Yeah, drying rack.
Dry rack or something like that. Yeah, okay, but on that rack there were at least 100 string tongs with all colors of the rainbow, with marbles, with flosses, with beads, with you name it, he got it. So I think, as expressed, he's standing in front of church with this robe on and just that thing underneath. But anyways, he wasn't there, and he wasn't missing. But we had to put some new locks in the door. So then and put a note on the front door, so he when he got home that he could pick up the new key at the police station. And then the pastor came to me, and I had to talk with him. And he was a little bit shy and a bit reluctant to talk with me. I said, we went into your home, and then we went into the living floor, and everything was all right. And then we got upstairs, and you saw that his head was getting redder and redder. I said, and then we came into the bathroom, and it looked like there was a struggle there. All kinds of magazines on the floor, with naked boys and stuff, and the tongues on the floor. What is that? And he didn't say anything. He just took the key and he ran off. I think that is fun.
So
funniest stories.
The pastor's okay. The guy wasn't. He wasn't like. I was waiting for him to be dead in the bathtub or something. But yeah,
I know. I was waiting for that too.
But all right, well that's definitely only on the police force. You really can't make that stuff up unless you have experience. So I feel like we have a couple other police officers, former police officers too in the room, and I feel like we could have just a police officer story podcast, because I'm sure all of you guys have such good stories like that. But
we'd probably have to change the rating of the podcast for some of the stories. So
yeah, exactly.
The children-friendly versions would be well out the window, I'm assuming. But yeah, so I guess here's Clay's most important question that you're going to answer today is, what is your favorite movie?
What's my favorite movie? The Mechanic.
Who's in The Mechanic? Is it? Oh, okay, yeah. All right, and they've made a bunch of sequels to that one, haven't they? Don't they have like The Mechanic 2 and?
I think they have a couple.
I believe so, but the Mechanic 1 is the movie. The Mechanic is the movie I think is.
Okay.
I like that one. And
Boondock
Saints.
That's a classic. I think the first time we've heard that one, but that is. I remember that being super popular back in college. But that's a great one too. What about? We already talked hobbies. You like to fish, but the Netherlands. What do you like to? What's your favorite food? And then your go-to dessert over there in the land of the Dutch.
Well, to be honest, I like to barbecue low and slow. So a brisket or a picanha is my favorite food.
You can't go wrong with brisket. I don't care wherever you go in the world. You can't really go wrong with brisket. What about desserts?
Desserts. I like how you call that?
Creme brulee.
Another classic you can get anywhere, just about anywhere you want. So awesome. Glad to hear you. Now I'm hungry. I always get hungry when we end the podcast like this. But so I guess last question for you. If you had to pick 3 words that define successful trading, what 3 words would you pick?
Motivation, dedication.
Oh, nice.
Rules.
Threw in the rules at the end.
I like the rules one there at the end, yeah.
Very, very nice. Well, we will wrap things up now, and thank you very much for taking time out of your afternoon. So what are you going to do after this? I'm assuming you're going to hop back on the computer and trade some more cryptos. Is that what's?
Actually, I was trading during all this conversation.
So are you winning? Are you losing? What happened during the conversation?
I have 25% gain on Lisk LSK.
Well, there you go. Talking to us and making 25% return. I'm all for that. So, well, congratulations on that note. And we will for sure have to have you back at some point in the future just to see not only how your account growth continues to unfold, but especially from a real estate perspective. I'm curious how that will all unfold. So would you be willing to come back at some point in the future? Good.
Sure.
Good. Ches, we'll definitely have to have him back. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah, this was, you may also get the reward for giving Ches and I the biggest potential heart attack in the middle of an interview too. So I'm glad you redeemed yourself by, because that was getting shaky there for a while, but you definitely, the more you talked, the more it became very evident that, all right, yeah, you're definitely approaching things in a logical manner with a strategy and all that. So that is good to hear. And thank you again for hanging out.
Yes, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for learning me how to trade.
Hey, you're the one that was open-minded enough to give me a shot. So I thank you for trusting that I could help you out. And yeah, you took the information and ran with it. So that's motivating for sure. Not only for me and Ches, but just for everybody that, it's possible. Just got to put in the time and effort. So before we go though, a final few things for you listeners out there. First, if you are listening on YouTube, make sure to click that like button and subscribe to the channel. And then also just check out the channel in general. Lots of other videos besides these interviews. I have live trade videos. There's quick tip videos, all sorts of different content. We have a vlog, that kind of just documents some of the behind the scenes stuff. If you're listening on iTunes or any of the other podcast players, then make sure to subscribe. And especially on iTunes, if you could leave us a rating, that really helps us out. And then finally, if you're at claytrader.com itself, on the show notes page, click that share button. And then also, if you have any questions or feedback or what have you, down below the thumbnail image is an area for comments. You can leave those comments down there, and we do read those, and we will reply to them. So thank you all as listeners, and we will see you back next week.
This has been the Stock Trading Reality Podcast. Thanks for taking the time to hang out. To learn more about Clay and the Clay Trader community, including the trading team, premium training, and more, visit claytrader.com.